First of all, I'd like to welcome you to this gathering. I'd like to welcome you to the first AIIM conference in 10 years. What we wanted to do is talk to you a little bit about a new program that we're launching. For those of you that have been advisory trade members of AIIM or members of one of our task forces, this is basically where the two of those concepts come together. And for those of you that are new, hopefully what we'll do is outline an opportunity for you to engage with both the organization, with fellow people in the space, as well as senior end users in an exciting new opportunity that we have. And we wanted to take this opportunity to make sure that you were aware of it, that you were invited, you're welcomed, and that you understand what it is that we're up to. So what you have on your tables, if you could just take a quick look at it, I'll remind you at the end, is that first you have a little description of the Executive Leadership Council. And on the back of that, for those of you that are so compelled by the beauty of my words to sign up immediately, you're more than welcome to fill that out. The idea for this came from, if I go back about 18 months ago, we convened a task force with Jeff Moore of Crossing the Chasm fame. And the idea at the time was to think about how the world of content management and enterprise IT was being changed by consumer and social technologies. And so we had a list of companies, I think there were about 9 at the time, and basically we met with Jeff over the course of 3 to 4 months, the output of which was a white paper that was focused on defining the space moving forward and was focused on this concept of building out systems of engagement on top of systems of record, and trying to help people understand how the world of systems of record that we've all occupied for the past 2-3 decades was morphing in this new direction and where the connecting points were. And so that was the first task force that we put together to try and build that argument and build that space. Then the second one that we did this past year, we expanded it and we partnered with Andy McAfee for that. We published a survey that many of you were sponsors of. We also then published 3 white papers. So the point there was to try and take some of the arguments that we had built on the side of systems of engagement and extend them into the social arena, and particularly extend them into the connection into the process arena. I call this my history of enterprise IT in one slide, and the purpose of the slide is to walk through the fact that systems of engagement are different than systems of record, but in order for them to have real value to an organization, particularly an enterprise scale organization, ultimately these systems of engagement have to connect back to the world of systems of record. And if you don't do that, then all you really have is a very, very thin veneer of social engagement that's disconnected from the back-end business processes and information repositories of an organization. We were really pleased with this announcement, where the columnist from Forbes basically identified that systems of engagement, systems of record conceptual framework that we had built as the social media idea of 2001. And that was really good for me. It reaffirmed, I think, some of the things that I've been seeing during the course of the year. You know, I went to the Box.net user group conference, and systems of engagement, systems of record were there. I went to the IBM IOD on the keynote stage, systems of engagement, systems of record. Went to the open text content world, systems of engagement, systems of record. So that conceptual framework, I think, is symptomatic of the kind of leadership that we're trying to collectively conduct with all of you all in terms of helping the marketplace position these technologies moving forward, help create market opportunities and market spaces for you to sell your solutions into in a way that's, you know, personally also kind of engaging at the same time. One of the things we found when we did our first task force was that so many people from a senior level within organizations had competed like hell against each other, but many of them didn't even know who each other were on a personal basis. And so this is a nice neutral space in order to connect with other folks in the industry.
Hi, I'm J.B. Holston. I'm the president and CEO of Newsgater Technologies. I've been on the board of AIIM for about 18 months now, and I wanted to talk a little bit about why we've been excited and the value that we've gotten as an enterprise social company to have been involved in what's going to become the executive leadership effort for AIIM. I think there are 3 primary things that we found beneficial through the task force process last year and through our involvement at the board of AIIM. One is thought leadership. It's an opportunity to interact with other folks who bring their A game to the conversation about the future of systems of record and systems of engagement. Secondly, it's the marketing benefit ex post. We create a lot of really interesting material through the process that we use within our company and with our sales efforts to really push messaging in a new way and around new frameworks, and we find that very valuable. And then the third are the connections. It's a really unique group of folks who have been involved in these efforts and who will be involved going forward, who are at the forefront of thinking about the trends in our industry and are at the forefront of defining what those how to talk about those trends. So for those three reasons, we'd strongly encourage any other company that's in the social space, may not really consider themselves to have been in the ECM space or in the content space, but is in the social space to actively consider getting involved. It's well worth the effort.
The idea, again, is to create a permanent space, a leadership space, so that we can talk about trends within the industry, talk about things that are transforming the user experience, and basically build materials and collateral around that that help educate potential prospects for it. So the benefits, if we will, of participating are things like connectivity with your peers and also with senior end users, significant market exposure for the companies that are involved in this whole exercise. It's intended to be a somewhat exclusive group. We anticipate these meetings will be 50 to 60 people, and that's about it. What will be different from the past task force experience or from the past advisory trade member experience, for those of you that have been involved in it in the past, is we're going to bring 10 to 15 CIO-ish end users into the fray as well. And so again, the idea of helping to build a set of arguments and a set of messages that carry over into the future.
So there's three key benefits that we found. One of them is just pure thought leadership and brainstorming ability with the smartest of the smartest within different organizations who are participating in this social mobile post-PC era revolution that's out there. The second big benefit that we see is and making sure that we as vendors who typically err on the side of going out and doing too many product pitches can go out and talk about thinking on customer problems rather than just products. So the fact that we've been focusing on market trends and where the industry is going rather than specifically peddling products of each other's has been a refreshing change that AIIM's actually brought about, and we've all been beneficiaries of that change. And three is just engaging with customers who are actually starting to use these technologies and these solutions and seeing what the fundamental challenges from a change management perspective are that they're facing as they engage in this next revolution that we're all part of right now.
As we thought about this, we thought what would really be good is to bring in a professional facilitator, someone with reach into end user organizations at a very high level, and have almost kind of a permanent face, if you will, for this set of activities. And so Thornton May, who many of you know, Thornton has been in this IT leadership space for, oh gosh, for probably 2 decades. He's got a lot of connections. He's a well-known author and futurist. You can see his book here, which is The New No, which was actually way ahead of the curve in terms of understanding the impact of big data on end user experiences moving forward. But Thornton is going to facilitate this. Thornton is also a former chair of AIIM, going back about 15 years ago. He's a fellow of AIIM. He knows this space backwards and forwards, and he also knows how it has to morph moving forward into the future. He is loud, he is brash, he is irreverent, he's all those kinds of things, and he's a really good facilitator in terms of drawing out people's perspectives on things. So what we will be doing with Thornton is essentially conducting 2 of these leadership councils, 2 in the United States and 2 in London. The format, as you can see from Thornton's little description here, it's kind of part Harvard Business Review, and it's part Dr. Phil confessionals of people coming in and sharing their frustrations with some of the solutions that they've tried to implement. And I'm not even sure I've ever seen an Amish barn raising, so I don't know what that is. But just take my word for it. I've done a lot of things with Thornton over the year. He's a really cool guy. He's very stimulating. And what we will do at the end of all this is basically publish white papers and artifacts that come out of the meeting. And so all the participants will have those artifacts and white papers as part of the collateral that you all can use for lead development, lead generation, for your own purposes moving forward. So the method to the madness, if you will, is basically by spreading the cost of convening these meetings across a bunch of companies. What we can basically do is create a set of information leadership pieces that will help distribute out in the marketplace and help everybody sell more in the long run.
Hi, my name is Andy McMillan. I'm Senior Vice President of Data.com products at Salesforce.com. I wanted to talk a little bit about the experience I had with the AIM task force and what that's going to become with the new AIM Leadership Council. I participated in the first task force, which was with Jeffrey Moore, and many of my peers that run product strategy and different vendors and different aspects of this marketplace. Found it to be an amazing experience, a unique opportunity to engage with peers and other thought leaders, to be facilitated by industry luminaries and really talk about the trends in the marketplace, what those trends mean for our end customers, for us as vendors, and for people that cover the market, was something that I found invaluable both for my own perspective on the marketplace, but also to bring those frameworks and discussions back to my product strategy team and really discuss as a vendor in the marketplace, what were we doing to address these opportunities as well as these market challenges. So I think for organizations that are in this market and looking to really understand where these things are going and to participate in some of the frameworks that are being created to engage with customers and discuss these challenges and opportunities, I really think what AIM is doing is really unrivaled in the industry. It's really an interesting concept to bring these groups of people together and really try to discuss what we can do as organizations to drive this market forward.